Hey everyone, how y'all doing today, and welcome back to another meta guide. So we are in the Halloween Cup, so the Open Great League Halloween Cup, or Halloween Cup Great League Edition. And the Pokemon that are going to be eligible are going to be Poison, Bug, Ghost, Dark, and Fairy types. So yeah, I've always liked the Halloween Cup. We've had it for years now, right? Obviously the meta is different because we have different movesets. So different Pokemon are going to be relevant compared to previous years, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and dive right into it and see what we got going on for us. So for the S rank, Cloudsire. So Cloudsire, you could run, you want the Earthquake, but you could run Sludge Bomb, or you could run Stone Edge. It really depends on your team composition, which one you want to do. Yeah, I mean, but Cloudsire is just going to be a great Pokemon for this meta. Then we have Carbink. Carbink is going to be another great one. It's just so tanky, even if it's going up against Pokemon that have super effective attacks for it, you're still doing a lot of damage with Rock Throw, right? And it's so bulky, you can still take those super effective attacks, so it's just such a great Pokemon, and you all know that. Then we have Greninja. So Greninja is not tanky, it's really frail, but it does do a lot of damage with Water Shuriken and Hydro Cannon, and then also Night Slash, great bait move as well. So yeah, Greninja's a really good one. I'm probably going to try Greninja for sure in this Halloween Cup. I haven't used Greninja a lot, I'm going to be honest with you, since its release in general, but I think it's going to be really good in this meta, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And then we have Azu, so everyone's favorite Pokemon, Azumel, right? So, what moveset do you want? Well, definitely the Bubble, obviously, is a fast move, and then, I don't know, I feel like the Ice Beam Play Rough, probably the way to go on the Pokemon. And then we have Galarian Weezing, or the Shadow version of Galarian Weezing. I would recommend the Shadow one. You know, it's interesting because, so I did do a couple raids. I got a rank 8 for Ultra League, and then I got a really bad one for Great League, which I would still invest in because that's the only one I got at the time. But since the Rockets came back with the Shadow Weezing, I actually got a rank 25 for Great League, but unfortunately I can't evolve it into the Galarian version. So at this point, I just use the bad IV one until they allow us to evolve it again, and hopefully they do in the future so I can get my good one. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm totally fine with that. Not a big deal. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think you want Overheat. I think you probably want Play Rough on it. So Brutal Swing is a great move, and then Play Rough is probably the moves that you want to go with. And then we have Quillfish. So Quillfish is super spammy. I think it makes a great safe swap. Even though we have Mud Slap uses, even though we have those, you can still get to the Aqua Tail fast. Obviously, an Aqua Tail is going to threaten a Shadow Golurk for sure. So, going to be fantastic. Speaking of Shadow Golurk, going to do a lot to the Poison types, right? Just going to be able to Mud Slap them all the way down. Golett wasn't the recent Rocket of rotation, so yeah, something to keep in mind. Hopefully you got a good one. I actually got a decent one recently, so pretty exciting times for that. But yeah, you just Mud Slap down the Poison types. You probably do have to invest a shield against like Drapion or Quillfish, but still, it is worth it. And then speaking of Drapion, or the Shadow version of Drapion, great safe swap in general, because again, you can force shields against Shadow Golurk even if there's a Shadow Golurk hiding in the back, because you will make it to the Aqua Tail, right? So yeah, I mean, great Pokemon, just a fantastic safe swap. We've seen it in the Open Great League this season, and we'll see it in the Halloween Cup as well. And then moving on to the A rank, we do Mandibuzz. So Mandibuzz, super thick, super tanky, gonna be doing pretty well. Just it wants to avoid the fairy types, right? But other than that, it's just so tanky. It's going to do well against all the the ghost types. The ghost types is going to resist dark moves. So yeah, I mean, it kind of needs to be on a decent matchup. It's going to resist Mud Slaps as well from Golurk, Grimer, right? So yeah, going to be pretty good in that regard. And then Alola Ninetales. Now you could run Charmander. I think Powder Snow is probably the way to go. If you're running a Charmander, you probably want Wigglytuff. So I'd probably go with the Powder Snow on the Ninetales. Going to get to the moves really fast. Then we have Alolan Marowak with Fire Spin and Bone Club. Was recently updated this season, doing more damage with the Fire Spin, and the Bone Club is also doing more damage as well. And so many poison types, I think it's going to do pretty well. And then we have another Mud Slap user, Grimer. Now it is not, Grimer. So it's a poison type, so it's not going to benefit from Stab or anything because it's not a ground type, but still, I mean, still could work to your advantage as well. so it's going to be pretty good. We'll have to see if a lot of people have it. It is an XL Pokemon, so something to keep in mind. And then we have Klefki. So Klefki actually has Astonish. So Astonish and Klefki, I think, will be pretty good. It does not benefit from Stab, but at the same time, it's not going to be weak to Dark attacks, like, for example, Drifblim or Dusknoir will be. That's probably why I rated it a little bit higher than the other two. But yeah, going to be a fantastic Pokemon. And then we have Hisuian Quillfish, another spammy one with that Poison Sting. You know how fast it gets to the moves. Moving on to the Beavane Guzzlord. I actually think Guzzlord's going to be really good. I mean, think about it. I mean, it wants to avoid the Fairy types, right? Obviously, the Ninetales, obviously, the Azumel, the Wigglytuff, the Mawile. It needs to avoid those, but if it does avoid them, you're looking pretty good with this Pokemon, for sure. It's not weak to Mud Slap. It's going to be doing super effective damage with the Brutal Swing towards the Golurk. So it resists Drapian's attacks, unless if Drapion is running Sludge Bomb, but I don't expect Sludge Bomb and Drapion this season. So maybe it'll be different for this meta, but even then, it's not like you can't take a Sludge Bomb anyway. So great Pokemon just to avoid the fairies, and you're looking really good. Then we have Dusknoir or Shadow Dusknoir. I'd probably go with the Shadow version with the Astonish, doing a lot of damage. Needs to avoid like Ghost and Dark types, but still doing a lot of damage. And then we have Malamar. Okay, Malamar was updated with Psywave this season. It's crazy how Psywave went from being a terrible move to one of the best moves in the game. You absolutely love to see it. I love when they do that. And then we have Galarian Moltres. So it's been out for a while, so maybe you have it. Master Balls have been out. Hopefully you have one for the Great League. I personally do. It's not a good one, but I still have one. Sucker Punch is a fantastic move. Yeah, it's just a fantastic move. I think Shadow Golurk is going to be really good, and of course you're resisting Mud Slap from Shadow Golurk, and the Shadow Punch is going to be doing a lot. You just flub that thing all the way down. Wigglytuff as a Charm User going to be fantastic. Just avoid the Poison types. I think Mawile with Fairy Wind could be really good as well, and I'd probably recommend Fairy Wind in this meta over Fire Fang. So Fairy Wind getting to the Iron Head fast, getting to the Play Rough. I'd say go with the Shadow version if you have it, and then Drifblim. Yeah, I mean, Astonish, Icy Wind debuff, fantastic Pokemon. We've seen in the Ultra and the Great League as well, the Open Leagues. It's kind of been a little bit annoying to play against, I'm not going to lie, but it's a great Pokemon. Moving on to the other options, we do have a Skuntank or the Shadow version of Skuntank. Yeah, I think this Pokemon could be pretty good. The only thing is, obviously, you don't want to be hit with Mud Slap. But not only that, if you're going up against a Mud Slap user, the Poison Stings, like against the Golurk, against the Grimer, Golett, whatever you happen to battle, are going to be resisted. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, he'll do well against the Fairy types. We have another Fairy type, Clefable. Yeah, I mean, I think the Wigglytuff, you probably go with that one. But Clefable's still going to be a good Pokemon. Frostlass, another Ghost type. I think we saw this in previous Halloween Cups a lot. I don't think it's as good in this meta, but we'll see. Yeah, I guess because, I mean, honestly, you don't want to go up against Astonish users because you're going to get farmed all the way down. And then we have Nidoqueen. We have Beedrill. A couple poison types that could be pretty good in this meta. Salazzle, Tentacruel. Yet another poison type that we might see with Poison Jab. I've loved using Tentacruel in the past, so yeah, we might see it. But again, like obviously poison resists poison. So we might see a lot of other poison types, like Drapion, for example. Golurk is going to resist it because it's a ghost typing. But if you're up against the fairy type, of course you know it's going to do well. And then Togetic, there's the Golett. Again, it has Mud Slap, but you need the XLs for it. So I feel like a lot of trainers are probably not going to be running this one. You're probably going to run Golurk over it. But if you want to go double Mud Slap, you could go Golett and Golurk if you happen to have the XLs for it. Alolan Raticate, Zweilious with Dragon Breath. Okay, I mean, fair enough. If you want to do double dragon, you could maybe do with the Zweilious and the Guzzlord. That could be pretty good. And then you need an answer to fairies in the lead. So just something to keep in mind. Maybe you want to do double dragon and then a fairy, a poison type in the lead, for example. I think could work out pretty well. And then we have Umbreon. Okay, that is not on the team suggestion, but that double dragon team could actually work out well. So if you want to give that a try, again, you need to avoid fairy types, though, at all costs. The back line, both of those Pokemon will be weak to, or double weak to fairy, that is. So something to keep in mind. We're going to go ahead and move on to the solid team options. So for the first team, I do have the double Mud Slap team, Golurk and Golett. I do recommend the Shadow versions if you have them. The damage is just unreal. Obviously, the back line, is not going to appreciate, well, it's not going to appreciate flying types, right? And the flying types we have going to be Mandibuzz and Galarian Moltres. That's where Wigglytuff comes in, going to do well against both of those, right? I mean, it's also not going to appreciate Guzzlord because you got the Brutal Swing. That's where Wigglytuff comes in, going to do really well against that. Obviously, you could use another fairy type like the Clefable if you want to. So, yeah, I mean, and Wigglytuff is also not going to appreciate the poison type damage, so Mud Slap uses in the back going to do well against that. So I think that team could be pretty good. Maybe a team I'll try. I actually don't know if I have enough XLs. I'll be honest with you, I'll check. I do have a Grimer though built, so I could go Grimer instead of Golett. Like, that's something you could do as well with Mud Slap if you want to. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next team. It's going to be Double Astonish with Klefki and with Drifblim. Now, Klefki is a regional, but it was at GoFest at one point. One of the GoFest, I don't remember which one. Was it last? No, it wasn't 2-1 to go. I don't remember. But it was at a GoFest. Maybe you have it. Hopefully you have it. So Double Astonish. So I put Guzzlord in the lead with Double Astonish, with the Double Astonish team. I guess you could also go with a Dusknoir if you want to instead of the Klefki. That could be a team you want to go with. But yeah, we'll see how the team works out. Double Astonish, just fast move pressure, and then Dragon Tail as well. So yeah, so it could be pretty good. We'll see. Moving on, we have Alola Ninetales. Now, I would go Powder Snow with this version of Alola Ninetales, of the Shadow one, if you have the Shadow one. Drapion is a safe swap, and then Greninja. So the backline not really going to like fairies. Yes, Drapion is taking neutral damage from like Charm, so I mean you're okay in that regard. But if you're not running Sludge Bomb, then it's going to be a little bit difficult. I guess the backline does kind of struggle, or not the backline, but the team in general does kind of struggle to Azumel. But it's not like you don't have any play with the Pokemon. I mean, because the Poison Stinks are doing neutral damage against Azu. And then if you're not running Sludge Bomb, you could run Sludge Bomb on it if you want to. But if you're not, the Crunch, you could fish for a debuff. You're also adding up in damage because the Poison Sting just is adding up. The shadow damage from the Crunch, still not bad. You will have to shield, but not a bad Pokemon. All in all to go up against even the Azu. And then next up, okay, cool. We do have Clodsire, and then we do have Galarian Moltres and Dusknoir. So, or Shadow Dusknoir. I probably would go with the Shadow version. I think that could be a pretty good team. We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, Clodsire, it really depends on the moveset. You definitely want the Earthquake, but do you want the Stone Edge or do you want the Sludge Bomb? Well, Moltres is weak to Fairy, so you could go Sludge Bomb this way if you want to. Although, the backline is not going to like Mandibuzz, so because of that, I'd probably do the Stone Edge on this one, just because the backline is not going to appreciate that Mandibuzz at all. But you could say swap into well, I would say the Moltres. I mean, the Moltres, I guess, is okay against the Mandibuzz. And then Sucker Punch is just resisted. So Ancient Power is super effective, and then Brave Bird does a lot. So I guess it's not terrible. But, yeah. So, moving on, we do have another team. It's going to be Azu in the lead with Quillfish as a safe swap, and then Guzzlord in the back. And then the final team is going to be Double Dog Flying with Mandibuzz and Galarian Moltres, and you need a Fairy in the lead, obviously, because the back... Well, no, you don't need a Fairy in the lead. You need a Poison in the lead. It just happens to be a Fairy type as well. You could run a different Poison type if you want to. Maybe even the Drapion, but then if you did that, you probably would... Yeah, if you ran Drapion, you might want the Sludge Bomb, just because you want something super effective towards the Fairy types. But, yeah, you need to safe swap into one of these to lower out a possible Fairy type on your opponent's team. And then once you lure it out, probably with the Moltres, then a Galarian Weezing can come in. But yeah, let me know what you think of these teams. Let me know what team you plan on running in the Halloween Cup. I'm actually looking forward to this meta. I can't wait to try it out. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.